Sitar actually is a form of veena. In the olden days, all the stringed instruments were known as veena, even the bowed ones or plugged ones, whatever. There was a person who was a great innovator called Amir Khusru. He is supposed to have done a lot of modifications and named it Sitar. In Persian it means three strings, Sehtar. And we did have an instrument, a type of veena called Tritantri veena, which also means in Sanskrit three-stringed veena. But since then it has gone through so much of changes and improvement that it is almost quite a different instrument really.
This will be made as the neck. We have to make the joint here, cut it like this, and then it goes inside, and then we put screws here so that it's stable. So it's more or less like this shape, it goes like this. And then that's the upper piece. This goes like this. This has to be hollowed, and this sound is going all over the instrument. So this is how the basic structure is made.
The sitar, as you see nowadays, is mostly influenced by instrument makers from early 20th century. And this particular one is of course made by someone in Delhi, Rikhiram and Sons, but it is modeled after my type of sitar which I started playing, and Kanailal was the famous man who did this type of model particular, which is still very much in vogue. But sitar, as you see, generally has got this round piece, is a gourd with a design made out of wood carving, as you see, and lot of sometime ivory inlay, sometime different materials. And this is whole fingerboard, not Burma teak, but we call it tun, a special wood which is good for sitar. And on the top also there's a smaller gourd here with an opening which serves like a sound box. But what is very special about sitar is that it has all these frets, you see. You see these gaps here? It would have become a chromatic scale like the veena is, the old veena. But this is the speciality of sitar, that mostly we can, if we want the, this is the tonic. If we want the minor second, for instance, we can, or we can slip this up depending on the raga. If it uses the second flattened, same thing with the sixth note, and here second and third. So we call it sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. And one very special thing, like the veena, we pull the string and get the same note. You call it bending the string or whatever, like. So this gives the effect of voice or a bowed instrument. That is the meend of pulling the strings, meend. And when it is done in a little faster tempo, it is known as gamak. Etc. We wear a, can you see this? A little ring-like thing we call mizraf. And this is what we pluck with. And of course, forgot to tell you about these pegs you see here. These are the sympathetic resonating strings underneath. We tune it according to the raga we are playing, and that's the speciality of sitar, that resonance, each note. You hear? And sometimes you get a harmonic also. You hear, and things like that. And that's very important. It gives a special effect, and each note sort of resonates. That's the speciality. We don't use harmony or counterpoint in the sense that you did. We have simple harmony like the fourth or fifth, which you can hear even in the tuning of tanpura, for instance, which is a drone instrument. We don't modulate. Maybe 2 hours you are hearing, the tonic will be the same, it won't change because the tanpura is there, it is playing the drone, and we maintain the same, what we call sa, you call do, but I don't mean do which is connected with si, but the movable do. We can say sa to any note which is comfortable for us, either instrument or singer. And you have to get used to that, but we do change the what we call raga, the notes that we use in certain piece, which is based on a raga. There comes the question, what is a raga? Raga is not a key, it is not a scale, it is not just a melody, but it is something very specific based on, we have 72 different full octave scales. And the raga has to be based on one of these 72 scales. For instance, we have 5-note raga, which is very simple, pentatonic, what you call. Suppose we choose this as the tonic. So it goes sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa, which you hear sometime in Chinese music. You see, it doesn't use the 4th and the 7th. Then there can be a 5-note which is also quite popular. If you modulate, you get 5 different ragas. If you make the 2nd note as the tonic, 3rd note, so we get sa re ma pa da sa da pa ma re sa. It doesn't use the 3rd and the 7th. So there can be a raga which uses 5, like the sa re ga pa da sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. It uses 7 notes while descending, using the 7th note and the augmented 4. So, I mean, this is just skeletal pattern of raga. This is not the raga yet, because we can have different ragas using exactly same format. that's where comes the question of Vadi and Samavadi, which means importance is of note. For instance, sa re ga pa da sa sa da pa ga re sa. This is a skeleton. But Rag Bhupali will dwell mostly on the fifth and the third. Sa da pa pa da sa re ga. This is important. Re ga sa re ga. Pa ga re ga re sa. Sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa. Always giving importance to the third note, sometimes doing little of second note and the fifth. But there is another raga which is known as Deshkar, which uses exactly same notes. Sa re ga pa da sa sa da pa ga re sa. But the importance is on the sixth note. Ga re ga pa dha pa ga pa dha pa ga re sa. Very short second. Ga re ga pa sa da pa da ga re sa da pa ga pa da. So the whole raga will be sung keeping this as sa re ga pa da pa da sa da pa ga pa da ga re sa ga pa sa da, not sa re ga, that will become Bhupali. So these are known as Vadi Samvadis, or the most important note, the second important note, the third important note, and the notes which are not used. Then use of microtones. Sometimes microtones are not used directly, but with little we never use staccato. La 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 ri ri da 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 ri ri da da. This is not Indian music. It will be la da 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 da. It's always rounded. It's not cornered. That is very important thing. And then give feeling to it. There is like a theme with a raga, the rasa. Rasa means mood or emotion. They make painting of ragas, ragmala, ragmala paintings. That is artist's, imagination. Some are very, very devotional, some are very serious. Some are very, very romantic, some are very sad. Alap is like invocation, technically, invocation or introduction of raga, or you can say like unfolding really from the face to the eyes to the ears, like describing a beautiful body. That's the nearest I can express as to the feeling of a raga and alap. But in reality it becomes something more, because here you enter into a world of, you start from the least amount of note, that is the do, the sa, establish, then the second note, then third note, either you go lower or some ragas you have to go higher. but mostly according to our Beenka style, we go into the lower register, gradually into the bass strings, and that's more of pulling the strings, and it's not dung 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 dung, it's not that, it's dung da da, it's pulling on the sideways. And it's like, there are many ways of alap. When, according to the old system, you have straight away you disclose the raga. They never announced before what they are going to play in the olden days. Sometimes it is known as gupt alap. It is like a secret. You are not disclosing. You are just dwelling in 3-4 notes, and people, connoisseurs, are wondering what raga is it? Because there are so many ragas near to each other. Unless you show the actual, what we call the pakad of the raga, or the face, just by looking at the hand, it's not always easy to know a person. Sometimes if you know it very well, know the person very well. But it is that mystery, and it is that suspense of what raga it is, till you disclose the actual face or the raga. So it depends upon how you approach the Gupta alap or the Vistar alap, or elaborating slowly entire raga in a very slow form, first 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, either going to lower or higher register. So then there's also Rupak alap, which is a beautiful alap with more beauty and very much disclosing it from the very beginning. Then there's Avchar alap, which is a very short form, the shortest way of showing the alap. Within maybe 3 minutes or 2 minutes. Then you start the jod, or you start a gat with the drums.